Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today we are out here in Portugal. We're at the Paul McGinley Golf Academy here at Quinta de Lago, and we are going to hit some shots with the three most talked about drivers this year. So we have the Qi10 driver from TaylorMade, we have the Ai Smoke Paradigm driver from Callaway, and we also have the G430 Max 10K from Ping. Now, there's a lot been talked about these drivers, as we've said. We've reviewed them, all standalone reviews that you can see on the channel, but we haven't put them head to head, hit them on the same day yet, which this is why we brought them out to Portugal. We've got some lovely sunshine, much better weather than we've seen in the UK, and we're going to put them through their paces. So the one I have here is Qi10 LS, which for me is the one that I've hit the best out of the Qi10 family so far from TaylorMade. Now I've got an 8 degree, it's in a quite neutral position to be honest, extra stiff, hazardous black 6.5 shaft. So in terms of the technology, we've got the speed pocket in the bottom there, we've got this 60 layer carbon face which has been redesigned, slightly different colour, much cleaner look to the top of the driver as well, and we've seen it validated on tour by so many wins by so many TaylorMade players already. When we move on to Callaway Paradigm Ai Smoke, I've got the triple diamond here, again 9 degree head set down at 8 with even flow 6.5 shaft, which I've been using for years now. It's a shaft that I absolutely love and get on with really well. In terms of the technology, we've obviously got an update in the AI Smart Face, so different sweet spots across the face there, a little bit of an update in the looks. It's a bit more kind of clean and kind of darker sort of colour. We've gone away from that blue that we saw in the Paradigm last year. We've also got the forged carbon sole, so we can see every single one of these drivers is going to be different because of this smoke effect we've got on the sole there. But yeah, the forgiveness across the face here and also the added sort of consistency that we're going to get is really adding to the quality of this driver. Now, the third one in our test is, as I've said, the Ping G430 Max 10K. So again, we've got 9 degree head set down at 8 and extra stiff, hazardous RDX smoke red shaft in here. It was really good on the test that we did. Much larger footprint, much larger head. Obviously the 10K story behind it in the maximum MLI, so that resistance to twisting when we don't hit the center of the face. So we still should see some really straight drives and great ball speeds all over this driver. So even if we don't strike it well, we should see it go pretty straight and pretty far. So we're going to put them through their paces. We're going to hit shots here on the range. We're also going to take them out to the golf course and hit some out there. We've also booked some time here in the Performance Centre here at Quinta de Lago, which has a Trackman, so we're going to hit some shots in there and give you all the data from these clubs as we've hit them too. So let's go see which one comes out best. So we're just going to start off now by hitting a few shots with Qi10 LS, okay? So we're going to hit some shots with each of the three drivers, then take them out to the golf course, then hit them on the Trackman. So we give them a really, really good review and kind of comparison really in this video. So Qi10 LS looks great behind the ball for me. I think it just sits really kind of traditionally behind the ball. It's got that nice pear-shaped head, that kind of subtle TaylorMade logo that we see on the top there. We can't see much of the face, that kind of blue face, by virtue of the fact that it's quite low lofted, so it's at 8 degrees this driver, which is kind of what I would generally use anyway. But yeah, I just love the way it sits behind the ball. So let's give it a hit and see exactly how it feels and sounds. Well, it feels awesome and it sounds awesome. And the shot was pretty awesome. So yeah, it feels really, really good. I really like the kind of duller, carbony sort of sound of this driver. It sits great behind the ball for me. It feels awesome off the face. And it feels like a driver that I can kind of shape as well, so I can hit different types of shot with it. I'm not really experimented with much of that, but let's try and hit a little fade up here now then. So this is a shot I use a lot off the tee when I'm playing, so we'll see whether we can hit it here on the range. So I'm going to try and start it out over that range buggy and bring it back if we can. Pretty good. Nice little bit of lemonade down there. Everything about this driver kind of suits me. The weight of it, the kind of strike off the face, and the ball flight that we're getting with it as well is very, very good. Really good, absolutely love it. Every single one has pretty much gone where I want it to. That one's a little bit out the heel, but it's just cut a little bit, but absolutely fine. Right, let's move on and hit the Paradigm Ai Smoke. So the AI Smoke with this AI Smart face is supposed to be very, very forgiving. And certainly when we did the review back at Howley, it was very forgiving. I really like the looks of this. Again, very different to the TaylorMade driver in that we have that contrast between the leading edge there and the carbon kind of crown on there. We can see that AI Smoke logo just in the heel, but it sits really nicely behind the ball. I like the shape of it. This triple diamond model sits and looks that little bit smaller as well, which I quite like. But let's give it a hit and see what the ball flight and the sound is like. Sounds very different to the TaylorMade one. I quite like it. It's a bit kind of higher pitched, I suppose, a bit tingier off the face. Yeah, much more of a crunchier sort of sound on that one. Bit better strike, to be honest. But the flight really, really nice and straight, little draw down the range there. But yeah, it's quite a similar sound really to the TaylorMade, that kind of, you know, carbony kind of head. It has a distinctive kind of sound to it, and the flight is very, very good as well. Right, let's hit some with the ping. So now on to the G430 Max 10K, right? So very different looks, much bigger looking head behind the golf ball. But again, it's designed to be very, very forgiving. So we'd expect that head to be a bit bigger. Slightly moves away from that traditional look that we saw of the previous two in Qi10 LS and the triple diamond in Paradigm Ai Smoke. And we'll see exactly how they perform. So, like I say, sits behind the ball much, much bigger. And we'd expect it to sound slightly different as well. So let's see. Yeah, much louder, pingier, excuse the pun, kind of sound. But yeah, it's kind of what you would expect from this type of driver, and certainly from a ping driver as well. They tend to be that little bit louder when you hit them. So let's hit a couple more. Again, much louder sound, isn't it? The flight a bit higher, probably a little bit spinnier. We'll see that when we have a look at the data on the Trackman. But yeah, nice flight, pretty straight and very, very forgiving when we hit that. That was a little bit towards the bottom of the face, but still it's got out there a decent distance and the ball flight was really good. So we're going to take these out onto the golf course now, put them through their paces out there, maybe hit some different types of tee shot out there too, and then hit some on the Trackman. So we're out here on the golf course at Quinta del Lago, the North course, and we're going to start reviewing these with Qi10 LS. Okay, and then we'll move on to the other three. We'll hit some as we go round and then tell you exactly which one we think's the best at the end. So now we've had a chance to hit all three of these drivers on the golf course, and we've been in the Golf Academy here and hit some on the Trackman. Let's have a bit of a look at the results. So we'll start with the Callaway Paradigm Ai Smoke. So if we look at that, we can see in terms of the height, it's the lowest of the three drivers that we've hit. And certainly I found that when we were out on the golf course. Maybe I need to have a look at potentially up in the loft on that a little bit to get it to suit me a little bit better, but certainly out there on the course the flights were definitely that little bit lower, kind of more penetrating sort of flight that we were getting with it. But if we look at all the other things there, so the spin is really nice and low, Qi10 LS was nice and low, the G430 Max 10K was the highest, which we'd probably expect, you know, the weight's further back in the head. It's designed to get the ball in the air a little bit easier and spin it a little bit more, and that's kind of what we're seeing here, certainly on the basis of these results. If we look at the ball speed, again, the Callaway and TaylorMade are slightly faster off the face than we were getting with the ping. But I mean, I found, because of the size of the head of the ping, quite difficult to get any speed with it really, and you can see it's, you know, 1 or 2 miles an hour slower than the other two drivers that we've tried as well. It's just, the head is just massive and kind of a really, not a weird shape, but kind of a obviously stretched back. I don't think it's as aerodynamic as the other two, so it's not going to be quite as fast as well. If we look at the carry distances, so Callaway 282, the TaylorMade at 294 and 285 with ping. So On the basis of that, the Qi10 LS is that little bit better, and if we look at the distance overall, it's that little bit longer than the others too. But to be honest, between that and the Callaway, I think if I was just to nudge the loft up a little bit on the Callaway, we'd probably get a little bit closer to where that TaylorMade one was. When we move on to the dispersion, you can see it's very similar between all of them as well. You'd expect that Max 10K to be much straighter than the other two, and certainly on the basis of the shots I've hit here, we're not really seeing that. Those kind of dispersion ovals there are pretty much the same with all three of the drivers, and you know, I would say it's a fairly average sort of showing from myself as to how I would hit driver, really. There's some right, a few left, and a few straight, so pretty decent kind of spread there with the shots that we've hit. But like I say, maybe you could tighten that up with, you know, a different shaft or loft combination, or maybe tweaking the weights around in some of these as well, which is obviously possible to do in the Callaway and the TaylorMade. I think it shows off those three drivers quite well, and certainly if you're looking at a new driver for 2024, these three should definitely be on your list because the performance with them is fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. I've certainly loved testing them and definitely loved getting out on the golf course here in Portugal to test them in the sunshine for a change. Keep watching all of our content on the YouTube channel to help you play more and play better, and we'll see you all soon.